For those of you still on Gingerbread and interested in upgrading your phone to ICS, I thought I'd do a short review of the differences in the two operating systems. So the lock screen looks pretty much the same. It's a custom lock screen and launcher by AT&T. Unlocking the phone, the desktop is pretty much the same as Gingerbread. You can see moving over, has essentially the same widgets, like this widget here to control all the different things like Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, and data. I'm not sure why they include that, since you can just slide it up from the top and get access to all the shortcuts over here. But I just wanted to mention how ICS obviously looks cleaner. If you look at the icons aren't as big. The text is more polished, more like cleaner. It looks much more professional than Gingerbread. The stock theme is no longer like a green color. Let's look. The bottom menu bar, you can see, is essentially the same. It just looks different. Instead of on the far right, the apps button isn't on the far bottom right, it's in the middle now. You click there, you get to your apps. I guess there's no quick and easy way to get back. You would just have to go back or home over here. So you can organize your apps a different way in ICS. It's a little confusing to me, so I don't really use that feature. And you still have access to everything you did before. You can add more shortcuts on the bottom here, unlike on, I don't think Gingerbread had that option. You just added like 4 shortcuts on the bottom and that was it. So you can add more and place them here by sliding it. So you have access to your phone. It looks pretty much the same. Call, log, favorites, except now that the contacts have moved over here instead of being up there, I think. Voicemail over here. Call log looks all the same. Let's try to go back. Messages. Messages here. They take up a little more space because they use this bubble layout. So it still looks pretty cartoony. Let's go back home. So ICS is organized a little better. Things just look a little more professional. It's kind of hard to adjust from Gingerbread because I always thought Gingerbread was very simple. Let's see. So the main differences that I noticed were, what's it called? In terms of obviously the look and feel. There's some applications that are missing. Like you notice over here, there's no battery percentage. I thought that was pretty useful. Now when I go to settings, and as you can see, settings is organized a lot different from Gingerbread. They've organized it into groups, like over here, wireless networks, devices, personal, system. So if I wanted to get to look at the battery option, I'd probably have to go under like status on Gingerbread, whereas over here I just scroll down to device and battery, and I can enable the battery percentage, which isn't included with the Gingerbread OS. And now you can see the battery percentages there. Again, I noticed the Gingerbread icons and buttons were kind of cartoonish, very green. If we move over to the camera and talk about the camera, I think that's a big change. Using it just for regular camera use, it just looks a lot better. The layout in general, you can take pictures faster one after another, which is nice because on Gingerbread I'd have to wait a while because it'd show the preview. I'm sure I could change the settings on that, but still it's kind of slow to me. Switching between front and back camera isn't too hard. You just click over there for front. On Gingerbread it's kind of easier because they just use words like front and back, and on Gingerbread you could just slide to change from camera to recording. But as you can see, they added a big feature for the camera in ICS is they added the panoramic view, which, remember with iPhone 5, what's it called, Apple thought it was the greatest feature known to man, so they were spreading it on their iPhone and ads and stuff. Well, ICS had it a year before, and so you can take panoramic pictures with ICS. I don't really use it that much. In Gingerbread, they had some settings on the far left. They kind of displayed it like with just icons, so that was kind of confusing. But over here in ICS, you can see that they put text to everything, so you kind of know what the settings are. So it's pretty easy to access and change. Let's go back, and yeah, if you layout's pretty good in ICS for accessing things like that. So I just wanted to talk about the camera there. And then let's see what else I wanted to mention. Top menu bar on ICS is different. So if you slide down, you can see looks slightly different. They include different quick settings in ICS. You can easily access the settings page through here. I don't remember that in Gingerbread, so you click there and it gives you go straight to settings. I could be wrong. I don't feel like downgrading my OS just to check that. Let's go back to the top menu bar. So it's not exactly apparent, but on the top over here you see that one tuning. If you slide over, you can access other settings, quick settings. So quick settings has pretty much everything you need. I think the only thing that's missing is mobile hotspots, but I think if you click over here over detail settings right below it, you have access to Wi-Fi additional settings similar to Gingerbread, but it might include the hotspot settings over here that you can set up. So it has pretty much all the shortcuts you need to do to access the settings from over this top menu bar slider. So that's the nice thing about this what do you call it, new layout for the top menu bar. So both OSs include swipe keyboard. About the keyboard, let's go back to how ICS, if you upgrade to ICS, you might have access to some applications that aren't available in Gingerbread. One thing I like to use is the Chrome browser, which there might be a way to install it into Gingerbread, but if you try to install it through Play Store, you won't have access to it. So that's one of the big reasons why I switched over to ICS. I can use Chrome. Back to the stock keyboard, I think for me personally, the stock keyboard was more sensitive and slightly more accurate than the Gingerbread keyboard. I could be just, it just might be my imagination, I'm not sure. So besides the keyboard, I didn't test the music player, I didn't test the video on this. Some other things I didn't really try out, but ICS does have quite a lot of neat features to use that come integrated into the operating system, like the cameras improved with panoramic shot. You have access to apps like Chrome. You can take screenshots. And so that's some pretty nice stuff that's included with ICS. In terms of stability, I noticed that both seem pretty stable. I just had that one problem with the 4G and 2G connection when they switch on ICS. Would cause random reboots on my phone, but that's because I'm with T-Mobile. I'm sure if you have AT&T, you won't have that problem. And again, I usually use Wi-Fi, so I'm not usually on my data, and Wi-Fi was never an issue for both Gingerbread or ICS. And so if you're thinking about upgrading, it's definitely perfectly fine. And so good luck with whether or not you want to upgrade to ICS from Gingerbread on your Pantech Burst.